Jojo. Yeah, I know your name.
Wow, what a set. Thank you for being part of our Oregon Backstage fundraising concert. The funds raised tonight, and they were so generous, to help support music education scholarships. That's what Oregon Music Hall of Fame is all about, to support continuing music programs in grade schools and middle schools. With that in mind, can you reflect for us on how your musical path was carved in your kid days?
My first instrument was singing, and I loved singing when I was just a little kid. And especially in church, you know, it's just like the feeling of singing with so many people. And my grandmother had a piano at her house, and I, you know, it was like an heirloom, and I was only allowed to play it when she was around, but I was just kind of obsessed with the sound, and I just wanted to be around it and doing, you know, making sound with it. So she was so sweet. She would teach me one song, and then she taught me how to read music, and you know, just really simple songs. And then once I had that down by heart, then she'd teach me another song. So that was like the game I'd play over at her house, and that was my introduction.
What kind of song, for instance?
You know, I remember some of the melodies, but it was like this really old songbook specifically for kids, and the songs were really simple melodies, but they were nice. I don't know. And it wasn't that I ever stopped liking the piano, but it just, you know, I got to be like 14, and I just wanted something more from music, and guitar was the thing that helped that. So
then you told your parents, I want to buy a guitar.
Yeah, what I said was I want to quit piano, and then my mom said, okay, fine, you know, you can quit piano, but only if you pick up another instrument. So it was guitar. If I came to you in thunder, not one shiver in my heart. I started learning guitar, and I had two friends that were learning guitar, so we started a band, and it was. One of us had to be the singer, so they said, all right, Israel, you're going to be the singer. So I joined choir, and I went to U of O and was in their voice department, and I got a letter from my high school choir teacher, and I know it was meant to be really kind and flattering, but she was like, you know, of all the students that I've had, I just never, it's a real shock. That, like,
So it was about 2 years ago, and probably in the making, much more than that. But And Then Like Lions came out in summer of 2016. A lot of it born out of love, loss of your father. A lot of grief to go through, a lot of that kind of thing that we all go through. Now, some 2 years later, life must be very, very different for you. Is a new album being shaped in your head yet? In your head, and your heart, and your mind, if not in notes and lyrics? Hints of where it might be taking us?
Yeah, it does feel very different. I mean, it's a completely different space to be writing from, and it's still yet to be discovered. It's still in the stage of letting the songs come and listening to what's in the air. So I'm not sure. It feels kind of like still a lot of themes of change, but in more new growth and in kind of lighthearted sort of way.
Blooming up from the ground, 3 rounds and a sound, like whispering, you know me, and you know me.
Watching the audience this evening here at the Secret Society, they knew the words to so many of your songs. How does that feel when you're out there? You know, they were singing right with you. How does that feel for you? What does it do for you?
It makes me nervous to not, you know, I don't want to mess up and forget a word, because I know that they'll know. That's one thing it does. But it also is completely, I mean, I don't know what could be a bigger compliment or connecting gesture, you know, to have made something that is meaningful to me and put it out in the world and witness that it transforms and becomes something.
It connects.
Yeah. So
You're connecting.
yeah.
And you've always felt that your music was the connecting force for who you are as Israel. Yeah. And finally, because we're talking about nurturing the young musicians with Oregon Music Hall of Fame, and thank you again for your wonderful work here this evening in support of that. Advice to beginners in the creative world, if someone were to come to you and say, pointers, what, and I'm sure that they do come to you.
Yeah, a friend of mine's daughter came to me recently. She's 17. She just got approached by some producers in LA that want to fly her down because she has put her songs on SoundCloud and they like them. So I just went through this long conversation talking to her about the industry just 2 days ago. So it's, I guess my biggest advice and pointers is just that, she had a lot of really good concerns and questions about, I'm not sure like if I can handle the pressure of writing for other people and what if success changes me if it goes that way and like all these things to worry about with collaborating with other producers. And I think the biggest thing for me was just once I knew that I wanted to be on that path, like that would be a dream come true. At some point I just made the decision, like successful or not, I'm going to do this. And that was a turning point. That was a big turning point. And I think that's a difficult place to get to. It took me probably almost 10 years of wanting to do it before I got to that point of just saying, no, I'm just going to do this. But that for me was the beginning of the path.
And that's what you can tell people who are asking you, where do I go? What do I do? You follow your path.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and I think if you have that, it is a crazy industry. It's just bonkers. And, I've been lucky to work with really good people. Even still, it's like you have to really watch out because it's not an industry that's set up to be fair. And so, but if you can come back to your own path and remember where you started, that's like pretty key.
And so the hope is that not next year, but maybe 2019, something new from you, or?
Yeah, so we're, well, I'm writing new songs now, in the middle of it, and we're hoping to be recording by the end of the summer. So hopefully, yeah, like early next year.
There's a lot of generous people in this room. That's great. Panic in the first beat of the morning.
We did this gig tonight because we really care about music education. Not one of us in the band doesn't feel passionately about that issue and the importance of what it's done for our own personal lives and what we know it can do for the lives of kids that are learning about who they are and what the world is. I think that music is, it's such a funny thing. It's like, it's nothing, it's just entertainment, and it's everything. It like shows us who we are as a mirror, and it shows us how to live with depth and richness. So it's really important, I think, to be giving that gift to everybody in our community. It's a shame that it's not always the case in public schools. So this is a program that we really want to support.
Thank you so much.